Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is December 17th, 2024. Denise, would you please take the roll?
Ms. DiPolito,
Here.
Mr. Gio.
Here.
Mr. Hardin,
Here.
Mr. Lansky,
Here.
Mr. Newman,
Here.
Mr. Padavani,
Here.
and Chairman Canestra.
Here.
Thank you.
Just so everyone's aware, 2 of our board members are online, so all 7, the full board is here. I'd ask everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. First item on the agenda this evening is a carryover. That item is Victor and Deborah Wu. This relates to a variance related to an in-ground swimming pool. Currently, the matter is adjourned. The applicant and the neighbor are at the planning board, I guess, seeking a lot line adjustment. So we're going to wait and see what happens with that. But this matter will be adjourned to the January 2025 meeting. So we're going to go right on to item 2. This is the application of Christopher and Judith Swee. This is an application for a front and side yard variance for a proposed garage extension to an existing family dwelling in an R40 residential district at 24 Lovell Street, Mayapack. Sir, please give us your name and how you're the applicant.
Robert Keeler, Architecture PC. I'm the architect for the project.
Okay.
So it's a pretty simple project, but there is existing garage in a front yard that is non-conforming. The side yard and front yard setbacks. We are proposed, the existing garage is roughly 6 by 20. And we are proposing a 16 by 12 foot addition towards the front lot line. Due to the existing topographic, the grade of the site, it wouldn't be feasible to put the addition to the rear, so we had to come towards the front lot line.
That's exactly going to be my question. Why aren't you going the other way with the building? But I see.
Oh, and
yeah,
this is.
If you could just turn the microphone around so everybody can. Please. Yep. Thank you.
So this is the existing garage, which is, again, that's, I think, 610 to the side lot, and 37 to the existing front of the garage. And we are proposed a setback of 26 front yard, and the addition will be at least 0.15 feet the existing side yard. There's some existing stone walls here, and again, the grade of from the road level down to the back, it grades down. And take a look at the second page. So here's some photos, and basically what we're trying to pick here is, even if we are encroaching into the front yard more, be more non-conforming, the grade offset from the actual level, you don't really see. You're only going to see the gate, and that's the garage there now, and we're just set. I'm not raising it or widening it. It'll be the same level. So I think even though we are getting closer to the front yard line, it's still pretty much well from the grade difference, and also the existing trees that are on site. This is the existing garage, which obviously, needs some refurbishment. And in addition to that, we're going to do a kind of like barn style door, sliding door, allow access. But right now there's an existing stone wall to the face of the garage. So in order to pull a vehicle in there, rather tight. So by extending this and having the door right off of way, it'll make it more accessible for them to pull in, quads and storage vehicles, tools, whatever it might be, but it's a little more accessible, from a vehicle storage point of view.
Two things that struck me right away is, one, this existing building looks like it's really bad shape. I assume it's going to be rebuilt.
It's all gonna be rehabbed as a part of the application, but in kind.
Okay. And then the second thing was, looks like there's a stone wall foundation?
Yep. That's existing.
Is it just stone wall or is there concrete behind that? I mean, what's supporting that end of the garage? I thought that,
So
I mean, I'm sure the building inspector is going to look at this and,
this wraps around, and then again, the grade on the opposite side is similar to this, and I actually have the elevations here for that. So these are the. So right now, the stone foundation with the grade, and that, the top of that stone foundation is the current floor garage. And it wraps and comes back up to grade on the, facing to the stone wall and front.
It's
Um,
probably been there for 80 years or something and not going in.
I mean, I don't have a C of O on it.
Yeah, so it's,
When it was built, but it's been.
you feel it's structurally sound to,
Yeah, so part of the drawings are to evaluate as they, start getting into the front gable, to evaluate the existing framing and replacing but
what isn't,
from a raw point of view, it's really solid. It's not too much sand.
what's the floor of the garage? Is it,
So it's
is
a,
it dirt,
like-
concrete?
no, it's just like the old school sawmill plank, 12-inch by two, like true 2x12s on the floor.
So it's a wood plank
Wood
floor.
plank
Yeah.
Well,
floor.
there's actually somewhat of like a crawl space, actually. There's a void between the foundation. That's not where the cars are gonna be. The car would be in
on the front part.
the addition area where we're gonna, we have it as an option here for a concrete slab, but at a minimum, it would be wrapped.
Well, why are you working with the existing shed versus building a garage over by the house?
Well, obviously, this has been here very. There are homeowners to this garage that's there now, so the idea isn't to just make a brand new garage, the idea is to update the existing with the addition, and also rehab it and bring it back to its former glory.
Does the current situation have utilities?
There is. These are the first buildings. So this would be the area, this is the door here.
Mhm.
This is the addition, this is the existing. We show all the framing and call out the framing of the existing garage. And then we're showing the framing, and we're basically just putting it on 5 footings that go down to a big foot, like a bell footing, to support the addition, which allows them to do a gravel or a concrete apron into the garage.
Can you go back to the page, one picture on it? I look at that upper left-hand picture. It looks like it's a one slope roof. Maybe it's just an optical illusion, but it's like other pictures show it as a peaked roof, and this seems like it's just one slope.
It's a gable, this is probably the perspective from the camera with the wide lens
Okay.
to capture that, but it is a true gable from the road side towards.
It's like a 10-12. It's steep.
Yeah. Good one shot, yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would be very concerned if you were parking cars
that's not really our job.
over that section though of the garage.
I mean, it's an existing,
The idea is that they can just pull into the addition.
And not in the old section.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna be, because right now, there's a set of barn doors on the front that faces the road. And even to make the turn into there, you couldn't even do that. I mean, maybe there's a motorcycle or something in there, but
Okay.
As far as the car storage, that would be for just the addition, and then again, utilizing the remainder of the existing of it for maybe some smaller equipment.
And there's a crawl space underneath it, you said,
I have-
underneath the playing floor.
Yes, I believe that's the case,
Hmm.
based on the framing and everything they saw at the time of the inspection.
Okay.
And again, just to kind of emphasize on why we couldn't do it in the rear, and that's clear. You know, probably about 4 or 5 feet of it.
It's clear that you,
From,
it's clear that you had to go forward.
Yeah.
But it's not clear that you had to extend the garage versus having a garage in a conforming location. That, I mean, certainly, there's only one way to make an addition on this garage feasible, particularly with the type of construction. thing.
and again, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this outdates the existing dwelling.
Yeah, I just,
Sorry, just from a,
And the owner wants to do this because they specifically want to be able to put a car at that end of the garage? Is
Well,
that the intent? Just want a bigger garage and a car?
they want it to be, from a functional point of view, it would be more usable to them
Mhm.
having that additional. Right now, they have you look on the. So there's a little kind of dirt area down here that they kind of use for, again, just some additional vehicle storage. But tarps over them just for protection, so in order to give that enough location and get them out from the yard.
And the way the site plan works is, or appears to work here, is off of Level Street, there's an entrance and a driveway that goes to the house, around the house, to the garage, and then comes back onto Level Street. Is that correct? Is there two entrances?
Correct.
So it's like a big
It's
circular driveway or,
It's a horseshoe.
right, yeah. Okay.
Is there an existing driveway? Is there an existing garage on the house for cars?
So there is there was an addition, I believe, I don't know what year.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mr. Keeler, can you talk into the
Oh, I'm
microphone?
sorry.
Yeah, those of us that are listening and the audience can't hear you.
I apologize.
No, thank you.
Yes, there is a garage attached to the house that I believe was an addition either in the early 2010s or late 2000s. And I believe it's a 2 or 3 car garage. But those are more for everyday use vehicles. This is more for storage of some accessory vehicles.
Accessory vehicles, you said?
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not commercial vehicles, right?
No, it's not a business or anything like that. It's a hobby vehicle. If you want to think of it like that.
Now, the front yard variance we're talking about here,
Feet.
technically a building in the front yard is permitted. Because Tommy, on one of our things, we have 40-foot required. Then on the plans, I'm seeing not permitted. In my recollection, that an accessory building in the front yard of a property is not permitted, and I guess Level Street would have to be the front yard here.
Yeah, levels the front. The required front yard in the R40 zoning district is 40 feet.
Okay.
The existing non-conforming as well.
Right.
the house is closer to the road,
Mm-hmm.
the garage, even with the addition. That is the only mitigating factor is that he's not making it.
Yeah, I think
I do believe that the addition in the front.
Please use the microphone. I'm sorry.
The addition in the front, I believe, the offset.
yeah, I mean, I know
Fair.
the board has been hesitant to decline applications for things coming further in the front yard, such as garages. One comes to mind specifically when they didn't fit the character of the neighborhood. I think Level Street's a bit unique in that respect. It's not a traditional
Some of the neighboring
residential.
properties as you go down seem to be further closer to the road as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, further to me, it's interesting, and I looked at this on a Google Street View as well. You know, you you probably don't know it's there, and the fact that it's going to come, is it 10 feet forward from where
It'll be 12 feet from the
12 feet?
plane of the front of.
You
the
know, it's
Yeah, I see, I was just looking at
It
it.
sits down, so it's kind of hidden.
yeah, and none of those all the screening that's there is going to remain as I see it on the picture now.
Or once again, I'm sorry, pull the microphone around. Yes.
This photo, you can actually see where there is kind of a little pad here. It's just
Yeah.
gravel, but that's basically there. Adjacent to that, it's a stone wall, and then you have a hill that's up level street. That area is just what we're looking to kind of.
And we can also see a car under a cover on the left, which I imagine might
So this is actually.
go inside.
I don't know how I got blue on me right now. This is indicating the level of just.
Right.
Just to kind of get the idea of how much it's not 26 feet away and you have, you know, a 14 or 15 foot, whatever, the height of this is, right in your face. It's set down by. So the offset from the garage floor level to level street is roughly 10, roughly 10 feet.
I assume the addition and the existing structure will be made to look like one structure.
Exactly.
The roof and the siding.
So it's gonna be completely free.
Mhm.
And again, the structure will be reutilized as feasible and once they start kind of taking but all the idea is to refurbish this, but keep it looking like a old style barn per se.
But it should look like one uniform structure and not like we put on, you know, an attachment.
Like the addition.
Right, because that just, okay.
And there will be no electric in that building too, correct?
We have none proposed.
No plumbing in the building. There's no septic hookup here, nothing.
And it looks like, so there's currently, what, looks like stockade fence in almost the entire frontage of this property, right?
Yeah. And up and down the street.
So there is, it's from, basically, I think it's driveway almost.
Yeah, it looks like, yep.
Entrance.
So this, yeah, this property,
It's pretty well screened.
it's pretty hidden, yeah.
With the addition, moving it forward.
I've always wondered about that. When people put fence into the right of way. I've always wondered why that's okay.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I suppose that if
Like
the
like-
state, that's Route 202, right? Level Street is actually Route 202.
Right.
So that's state road. That's a town road.
It's a town road?
It's Tom Road.
You know, because like that's where the snow goes. That's where when they have to work, that's where it go. I've always just been curious about that.
Lots of fences and it's right away.
Yeah,
Fences,
I'm
walls and,
this is one out of 10,000
yeah.
occurrences.
You gotta leave it on your property. I know you can't go above 6 feet.
No, but the question is why people put fencing in the right of way, because the right of way is supposed to be reserved for maintenance on the road.
Yeah.
And should they need to access that
Well, they
property, I
just
assume they have the right to
fence,
remove the
that's all.
fence, yeah.
Has a sign done it where it's like a hold harmless agreement where the owner, if they want to put something in the easement or whatnot, basically takes the responsibility if and when the town needs to come through to whether it's a store easement or whatnot to do maintenance, that the onus or the cost of removal and the
Replacement.
installation of said fence would be on.
Yeah, I'm not implicating this fence.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I just I've just
Yeah.
always
Curiosity.
found it unusual.
So just because the sound cuts in and out a little bit, I just want to make sure I have this right. The existing storage garage is already closer than is allowed, and the home is currently closer than the addition would be to the road. Is that both
Correct.
accurate? Thank you.
One question that I just have, and this may be a sound and just not hearing. Why do we need a garage addition? Why not just renovate the existing storage garage to serve this purpose?
So the existing garage is 16 by 20, which is sufficient, but it's more so of the access garage and where that door is located versus the adjacent grade to even if we renovated just the existing garage because of the location of that with the existing stone wall and the just natural grade of the site, it still wouldn't allow us to have access to pull any vehicle within the garage. So if this is the existing garage, again, the only access is from the front yard lot line that's adjacent to it. So we can obviously see that there's no way to build up or get into that, even if we filled it solid, put a new foundation in, which again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, so we're trying to, keep the historic aspect of this garage and to just make it a little bit easier for access.
What is the paving now?
So there's an asphalt driveway that wraps around
Yes.
and just adjacent in front of the garage is just gravel.
So am I looking at this, that you're looking for a 14-yard front yard variance?
Correct,
14 feet, I should say.
14 feet.
correct.
And then side yard, about
8.5.
25.
Yeah, but the side yard's existing already for the existing structure, right?
Correct. Yes, it's 6.10 feet, and because of the angle, it ends up being 6.15, but roughly the same.
We have no lot coverage issues here with the asphalt driveway.
No, all coverages check out. It's about I think it's 1.3 acres, so 1.375 acres.
It's a little bigger than the required 40,000 square feet, right? It's almost.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's like 1.5 times, yeah. Okay.
I would say I drive Level Street a lot and I've never noticed that garage and nothing's ever stood out to me and the house is close to the road. I don't think that even though, I don't see the necessity of this addition, I don't think it's gonna be unharmonious with the neighborhood.
Right.
Or I agree with you. I cannot, I'm racking my head from 40 years of driving and I cannot picture this spot driving past it almost every day.
No, I live there too, and I have never noticed it.
Pretty well hidden, so, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, maybe what we should do is before we discuss further, let's take this out to the public and see if anybody in the public wishes to comment in regard to this application. Is anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak in regard to this application? We'll hear that. Paul, if we could put the numbers up on screen. If anybody wishing to comment in regard to the application, you just have to call one of the numbers in the white box, enter the Zoom meeting ID number, and we'll bring you on with bring you on for any questions or comments you might have. While we're waiting for that, any further discussions from the board at this point in time? Any other questions of the applicant? I'm good. I mean, I think the slope of I would kind of agree that I think the slope of the property really mitigates the view of this, and
And
those members here have driven by it a lot and hardly noticed it or not noticed it at all.
I have never noticed.
yeah, I was on that road 3 times today.
Still can't find it, right?
It helps that there's stuff in that area as well from just
Right.
the season
Right.
screening purpose.
With the leaves off the trees now too, I think. So Paul, are we having anybody come on to comment? Denise?
There is no one.
Okay. Anybody here in the audience wish to speak in regard to this application? Okay, no one here in the audience. Okay, any final comments from any board members, questions, issues? No?
Just to clarify the numbers, so the variance sought is 14 feet for the front yard, and did you say 8.85 for the side?
Correct.
That's what I get to.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything further to say in regard to this application before we vote?
I just would like to thank board members for your time this considering our application.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if we're ready to vote? All right, can I have a motion as to the type of action?
I too.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
This might be a little after the fact, but I am going to make mention that the engineering department here in the town made an environmental determination that there is no environmental permits that will be required. And of course, they recommend that erosion control measures be installed as necessary to construction.
And we have that indicated on it.
Right, right, okay. Can I have a motion as to whether we're going to grant or deny the variances requested by the applicant?
I'll make a
Motion to grant the variances proposed to the board.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Nay.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Ms. Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Your application has been granted.
Thank you very much. You all.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, we're going to go on to the third item on the agenda this evening. This is of Brojaw LLC. This is an application for a proposed second directional sign, an existing commercial business in an R80 residential district at 49 Route 138 Somers. Brojaw LLC is the best plumbing supply location. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Can you briefly describe your application before us?
Okay, my name is James Polinsky. I'm here from the sign company. The application that we're proposing a sign 4 foot by 5 foot on a stone wall that meets or fits the characteristics of the existing stone wall. That the reason for the sign is being difficult to find the location. Not so much even for pedestrians, customers, but truck drivers. And this has been causing an issue where neighbors have been coming to the town and complaining, and also complaining to the business themselves. So the only way that we can fix this issue would be coming for a variance for this second sign. Because the sign that they have now, which see, they're right on the cusp of a residential area. If they were a little lot over, I believe it opened to be an industrial or whatnot. So I guess they have a special use permit to do business in this location. It's directly across the school, directly across the street from the school that
John F. Kennedy.
it also has a large sign. The proposed sign would be a sign on a wall that where the best plumbing supply showroom warehouse letters, light only. The background would be an aluminum constructed background. So it's not going to show a large glow or anything like that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
This is the second sign, and this set of prints is all the second sign. And where's the first sign?
If you look at if you look at the first page, it's on the stone wall to the right of the pickup.
Oh, so that's the existing first sign.
Correct.
And is the second sign just coming over here?
Over behind the guardrail, yes.
So it's just going on the other side?
No, it would be larger in the grass area.
Okay.
It would be in the grass.
Perpendicular to the street.
Perpendicular to the street.
Okay.
As opposed to flush. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'm
Yep.
sorry to interrupt you.
On the last page, there's kind of shows the location
Yeah,
a
I
little
did.
better.
I can see that.
Yes.
Didn't know if that
Yeah, so the first sign is
Okay,
I know-
got it.
Two-sided pedestal sign, basically, on top of
On the-
the stone wall.
on top of a stone wall that we would construct to match.
Right.
And we're trying to keep it to match. We're trying to keep the height up that it would, the sign itself would be a little bit higher than the guardrail because the grade does go down, but there we have the guardrail right there.
So they don't need a variance for the sign itself. They only need a variance to have two.
Because the second one.
Yeah.
And
the side, and
it's for the direction of the trucks coming the other direction
See it.
and being able to see.
correct, and the size of the sign is also the reason for a variance because what they have on the stone wall is maximum size of what that they're allotted, which I believe was, since it's the residential neighborhood, it was 10 square feet or something like minuscule. So Best Plumbing has been there for many years now, you guys probably know, and this is an ongoing issue. And
Because this is a 4 by 5 foot sign, so this is 20 square feet.
this new one is 20 square feet, which if it was in a different zone, it would be allowed.
And can you give me an idea of the existing sign on the wall? How many square feet is that, did you
I think
say?
it's like 9.
9 square feet.
Yeah, I
Those-
think we're under 10. Yeah, very small. And it's just not doing the trick. And it's set back. That stone wall is set back a bit. So the trucks are driving by. Once you miss the turn going either direction, they're turning around in a residential neighborhood, or they're coming all the way out. They're trying to get into the IBM property, which normally has a gate. That's the issue, and that's what the neighbors are complaining about.
Yeah, and I know that over the years, right, there's been issues with trucks and noise and trucks coming and going and the hours that they come and go. And I know there's some rules that have been set up for all of that. So I know just anecdotally over the years, the neighbors have had issues. So it appears that this is meant to help mitigate
Yeah.
any additional truck traffic for the guy who missed the turn.
And better signage isn't gonna cause any issues to anybody in the neighborhood, particularly with the way they're setting it back. So this is, I
The
think,
new sign,
Yeah, I mean, the only
Yeah,
thing I would,
I agree.
doing better with the signage is gonna help.
there's two things. So number one, you're allowed one sign. Well, before I say that, this application, as I read it, is only for a second sign. There's nothing here about a size variance.
That's correct.
It's the size within the code? In this district?
So they have a special
up.
exception use permit to conduct a business in that R80 residential district. The existing sign is just under 10 square feet, and they're just proposing a second sign that is 20 square feet, and the variance is only to have a second sign.
They would still have to meet.
There
whatever
there
sign code
essentially
is.
Interesting.
It, Tommy, help me here. There's,
I guess the question is, should we have, or do we have to notice the size of the sign?
so I can tell
would say
you,
do. I didn't.
yes,
I didn't.
but I can tell you this, that
We need-
my,
we-
before Jim came to the Architectural Review Board, my research went all the way back to Gurlane, and nowhere could I find anything about a size of a sign.
Right,
Not
well, we should be able-
nowhere.
We should be able to
So-
find that
So I think you guys have to
code.
make that, it doesn't exist because it's in a residential area. So
Okay.
if you guys have to decide, the variance is just for a second sign, and I think as part of that request, you guys have to decide whether or not you think 20 square feet is reasonable. In the packets is included a memo from the ARB. They reviewed this at 20 square feet and they had no problem with it.
Okay.
But if you feel, there's nothing dictates the size of the sign.
Then it doesn't need to be noticed.
Or they're
Argue,
taking-
right?
They're not.
The,
What do you think, Tommy? I mean,
I guess the planning board approved the sign that
Yes.
exists there now.
Well, that exists there now, but
Right.
I see a memo here from the ARB,
Right.
Architectural Review Board. Let me just read it so we can go over this. At our November 21st, 2024 meeting, the board met with Jim Polinsky of Signs, Inc. to discuss directional sign proposal for Best Plumbing Tile and Stone located at 49 Route 138. Although the board did not object to the design, color, size of the sign, they would like to see an overhanging blue stone cap on top of the wall with the proposed sign. We'll address that.
We added that.
Okay.
That's in their drawings.
Okay. In addition, the sign should only be lit during business hours, but not before 6 a.m. or after 7 p.m., as the building is in a residential area.
Agreed.
In addition, the board could not approve the proposal as the code does not allow for a second sign. The board does, however, understand the need for the directional sign. And I think we understand the need for a directional sign too,
So
but, right. So,
The code does say, in residence districts, the following signs are authorized. One residence business or professional sign not exceeding 150 square inches. So it is providing a size, which would suggest that we are supposed to, that it would be a variance to have not just a second sign, but the size of the second sign. I don't know if we want to, the risk of not noticing it properly would be on the applicant, in my opinion. So Denise might.
someone could dispute our
Someone
decision.
could, if we go ahead, and it's not properly noticed, someone could very well bring it back here and said it wasn't properly noticed. They did get notice that you're here for a sign. You did go to the ARB, so this was out there.
yeah, we actually thought maybe the residents would be here in favor of it so they could stop any trucking issues or anything like that. I think what we can.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a much bigger issue with the flashing LED sign that's across the street. So I don't think they're gonna, being the school, which they need it to promote events and stuff like that. So I don't think
Which is bigger than
this-
this sign.
which is a lot larger than this sign. I think that one was what did we say, Denise? Was it 4 foot by
Yeah,
6 foot
I-
plus much higher off the, you know,
Yeah,
what
it was
we're
huge and it was approved by,
for a
the-
different, yeah, but
Yeah.
we talked about that at the ARB. It was approved for
Yeah,
a
it's-
different reason, you
it's
know,
much
night
bigger.
events and stuff. We don't need that. Us as a sign company and Best Plumbing try to do is something that would fit the characteristics of the neighborhood. We figured if we came here and we asked for something that wasn't, you know, too large, it's not going to happen. We were trying to do something that strictly gets the point across and alleviate this issue with truck drivers and getting lost as well, you know, as well as their local staff. It is kind of an area where you're going pretty fast, and all of a sudden you don't really expect to just see a big open driveway. And the existing sign, like I said, that's on that stone pillar or stone wall is pretty far back. So a truck driver's not seeing that. Even a regular pedestrian is not really seeing that unless you're looking over your shoulder pretty good.
oh, it's too late.
Till it's too late, exactly. So I think this sign would catch your eye. I think it's a readable size. I don't think it's something that's too large. And in other, you know, parts, I think you're allowed 24 square feet or something like that. We're under that.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of things, right? I agree with, you know, if this sign were going to be the same size as the existing sign and the existing sign were going to be removed because it's ineffective, then one might argue you didn't need a variance at all. So, but the fact that it's bigger and the fact that it is lit, despite the fact that it can only be lit during business hours, which I assume are predominantly during daylight, so it doesn't make a lot of sense why this is an illuminated sign.
For when it gets dark early in the, you know, in the morning
winter.
or
Like now.
or like now,
4:30 in the evening, it's,
4:30 in the evening, it's dark.
and just the letters are lit here, right?
Correct. And we would be shutting it off at 7 p.m. 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. is what's agreed upon.
everything in accordance with the letter from the ARB. right? You're
Correct. The Bluestone cap, and then and doing it on a timer that it's 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And a little bit past their business hours, but they also even the ARB pointed out that I guess they travels that way. They do lock the gate and everything because no trucks are allowed to sit there. They did try to follow every rule that was implemented as far as times of receiving, delivery, and all that, to try to be a good neighbor.
Right. I mean, I think my opinion on this is I think I can certainly see the need because to have the trucks drive by and turning around in people's driveways and all kinds of stuff that's going to go on, I certainly understand that. The only thing I question is the size of the sign.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about this. I mean, if I'm going to stand up here, 5 feet is this big, okay? But 4 feet is this big. This is a pretty big sign.
But it is set off the road a little bit and you are moving pretty quick.
Correct. It's set back, it's off pretty big. And if you look at the drawing of their logo and stuff, the letter heights are not very large.
Gotcha. Capital.
Well, the best must be 2 feet.
The B is 2 feet, yes. But that's with keeping with their logo. The plumbing supply is, 2.5 inches.
Right.
So we don't really want to go much smaller than that. And the reason why they want to keep the second sign or the original sign is it just once they see or come, I don't think these
People come in
truck
that
drivers,
direction.
I don't think these truck drivers really expect this warehouse to be where it is. It's just a beautiful stone wall in a residential neighborhood other than the school behind it. So I think if they see the sign first that's out by the street and then they look and say, okay, Best Plumbing, Tile and Stone entrance, they're going in there. And I think it's reassuring them, this is Best Plumbing, this is where you're supposed to turn. And that's why we had discussions going back and forth. We want people to know that it's the showroom as well as the warehouse. There's only one entrance. If you miss that entrance, like I said, you're going all the way out to,
Well, you go out to 100.
you have to go all the way out to 100,
And
or
yeah, that's not going to help.
there's nowhere to turn around, or you're coming in and I guess you're causing issues at 202.
I mean, because if you could take out the showroom and warehouse and make this a 5x3, 15 square feet, we take a quarter of the way, but you're saying the showroom warehouse is an important.
I think we had multiple discussions and we even discussed this at the ARB and we thought that this was an important, and we just tried to do it as concise as we could.
And-
Showroom, warehouse.
And the ARB doesn't have an issue.
They thought it was a good size as well for the position that it's in. It's set back off the road, cars are traveling fast there, and the whole idea is to see that you're going plumbing.
And that's really for the existing ones for eastbound travelers essentially, and the new ones really for westbound travelers. When you look at the angle, like
Yeah, I guess you're correct.
if you're going,
Yeah, you're
you're
gonna
going quickly,
yeah.
that's really how that
Yeah.
works.
You won't be going quickly the other way,
Um,
but you just be coming up from the light.
yeah.
I mean, I would imagine every truck driver that is trying to find this place that's never been there before is probably using a GPS. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
common technology.
Gets them
these
pretty
days,
close. Yeah.
Wouldn't you imagine? So
Not as much.
I don't want,
There's a lot of
what kind of truck? I mean, we're talking
there's
about,
a lot of box trucks from the city where people,
I don't know, is that, yeah.
Yeah.
that I've seen.
Oh, they're coming to get supplies, not just
Both.
For the-
This is their main warehouse now. They're getting supplies even from, different states, for the bringing in their material, and they are shipping out a lot of material. And it's,
and you don't think he's got GPS on a cell phone?
the problem is that
Surprised at how many people don't use.
the problem is with the commercial trucks, they really don't have a good cell phone GPS app. You're usually using like a Garmin because obviously for our trucks, and they're not great. They're not perfect. And I just think it's a weird area. You expect to be going to a more commercial area. It'd be nice out by the street.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree in concept that we're going to solve a problem for the neighborhood. What I'm conscious of is that it is a residential district. And so commercial signs in residential districts, we need to protect
Right.
residential.
That's why we should do it as
Yeah.
nice as we thought with a stone wall, blue stone cap to match the other. It's going to be a dark, their color is a dark blue background, so it's not going to be loud and obnoxious by any mean. Just the letters with light for those hours. For the most part, it's just going to be a bright sign other than when it's, dark in the mornings and dark, like now.
This is the vinyl here. This is an actual piece of the vinyl.
Correct. That's
Background.
that's their color. Yeah.
And it's set back off the road by a good bit.
I mean, I want the sign to be effective. I just want it as non-obtrusive as possible because we are
Those are
in a residential,
conflicting.
well, they may be to some degree. I just
That's what
looking for that perfect spot, you know?
we thought as also as like I said, a sign company and working with Best Plumbing, one of their head of their truckers. This is what we kind of showed. We thought the lettering was visible. The ARB kind of agreed that this was, if we go smaller, it might not be effective, and larger was not needed.
Because I will say, sign going to Route 100, yes, there are some residential areas, but you're talking a substantial amount of distance between that sign and the first house going towards
And you have
100.
other,
Plenty of
you have IBM,
We know,
in there.
there's
gonna be no glare.
No.
That's for sure.
no, nobody's going to see, and it's not, and you're not going to get glare, at 7 p.m. We're not asking to keep it on 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night,
No, it couldn't.
which the school does, but the school has they have event at night,
No, I really
yeah,
don't think.
something like that.
Whatsoever in.
Yeah, so we're trying to,
I don't know if the board remembers when, next to the Chico's or very close to the Chico's, there's an office building there. Bed in there and some.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a sign on the street that they wanted bigger and we approved it for smaller. And I go by there and I always say to myself, I'm glad we approved the smaller size. I'm not saying that's applicable here, but it's just like they insisted that they needed the bigger sign and there was so much signage on that building and around it. And we decided on a.
No, I will say.
It's just a consideration,
They
but
did
yeah,
a superb job in that sign.
yeah, they did.
Very nice.
It looks nice and I think it's a good size. I'm just saying to myself, is this sign too big?
Well,
That's my only consideration.
And-
And do we have to notice it? I mean, Tommy, what do you think about noticing this? Are we okay with not noticing this sign? We
not-
haven't noticed the neighbors.
it's not our risk, it's his risk.
Yeah.
What are you saying when you say that?
I'm saying that if somebody has a problem with this and they want to object to
Yeah.
the granting of a variance, they're objecting to the variance for best plumbing supply that we granted. And so they can come back and say, you didn't follow the proper procedures, and they can try to upset that variance.
I mean, I want to.
Well, they can get a variance tonight here for a second sign,
Yeah,
and someone can report a sign that is bigger than 150 square inches in a residential district, and the building
oh, we
inspector could
but we
cite-
could also,
That's like a one by.
we could also
It's a one by one sign.
for this sign as,
No, even though we haven't been asked for it.
well, he's here asking for it. The question is whether what has to be noticed and whose risk it is. So, and in terms of scale, like in an office district, their freestanding sign can be 100 square feet, right? And we're talking about 20 square feet. Like in terms of, I don't think that anyone's going to have an issue with this. And if we want to hew exactly to what the notice requirements are, we can do that and we can ask them to come back. I just don't think there's a big risk here. I don't think it's a
The
conflict.
only important person to be notified is the school. Because other than that, there's really not.
And look at their sign.
Everybody within 250 feet of that property line was noticed.
And
Oh, they
And
were.
nobody
there's a
called
neighborhood
me,
right there,
nobody
yeah.
contacted me.
Okay.
And if they looked at, the application that I would share with anybody that wanted to see it, the memo from the ARB doesn't state a sign, but clearly the paperwork tells you the size of that sign. And the sign at Kennedy is much larger
Much.
and lights up.
How many, Denise, do you happen to recall how many residences there are within 250 feet that were noticed? Is it-
Yeah, not many, like 6,
Right.
including the school. Yeah, because those properties are spread apart.
but some of those residences are the ones that were They're complaining
Complaining.
complaining about the truck issue.
Yeah, they're very nice
So-
residents and one going east.
So if they can, I think best is
You have two,
trying to be neighborly.
you have two residents which were on the on the notice list.
Okay.
And then Brojaw, the city of New York. So,
That's them.
yeah, so it's not a big number. I don't think it's a controversial sign, but, and they've been a good neighbor.
I agree.
I think this is the discussion, you know, with Best Plumbing to alleviate a problem. I don't think that they're looking for so much the advertisement. I think it's more of helping people find the place. Because when you get a tractor trailer and you're trying to turn around in the development next door, or coming out to, like I said, 202 and trying to, it's just it's not helping anybody.
Right. No question about it.
And that's why even the ARB, we discussed it and they thought, okay, showroom is, you know, regular people, warehouse, truck drivers, kind of, you know, try to be as concise as possible, small, you know, small as possible, but readable and gonna serve the point. Because if we do a small sign and it doesn't, you know, then it doesn't help.
Anybody, by any chance, you didn't happen to put in the sign at Reese Park, did you? Was it your company that did that? The new,
The town installed that sign.
Yeah.
oh,
I was
The
gonna say
town bought
recently,
it
no.
and,
You know
yeah,
the
the
si- you know
town
what-
bought it and signed and
you know what
had
the
their
size, you know what size it is by any chance, Denise?
huge. It's very big and it was supposed to be the same size as the high school sign and it turned out to be much higher. It's
This-
very big.
The screen itself, though, the sign there's stone underneath, but the screen itself, I'm wondering.
Yeah,
what
it's,
that size is.
I don't know what size it is, but it is pretty big. And it sits
I
right
would say
across
it's
the
pretty
street.
close to 5 feet by 4 feet.
Would you?
Yeah,
Screen
the
itself?
screen itself.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The size of this sign.
No, just,
And
Yes.
is that sign included in the residential area? I don't think it is.
Which sign?
Reese
The
Park.
sign at Reese Park.
I'm just trying to get a perspective on size
the,
to compare.
the Kennedy
Well, we
sign is-
have circumstances throughout the town. Like, for example, if you're going down Route 202 toward the Stone House, on the left side is Rhinoceros Creek Reservation, and they came before you to get a variance for a 20 square foot sign. That is, you know, there's houses right across the street from where that sign is. So they do exist. Some are trails. There are signs that exist in residential areas because, you know,
Oh,
if they have a business in the middle of a residential area, that it will only allow you a panel sign, so to speak. You know, they're entitled to have a sign, so.
Yeah, no,
It's a little muddy when it comes to these kind of signs.
Yeah.
There was no zoning board involvement with the planning board reviewing the proposed original sign
For where?
for
No.
this, for here.
Oh, for this one.
No, the planning board approved the original Girl Lane sign, and then when Brojaw took over, all it said was that the sign to replace the existing sign, the one that's already there, couldn't be bigger than what's there. I could not find anywhere a size, and the zoning board was not involved.
the Kennedy Catholic sign is 4 foot by 6 foot and 7.76 off the ground to the top of the sign with no guardrail or anything in front of it. So we're thinking with the 30 inches, that kind of stone base will get us to about the top of the guardrail. And then the 4 foot above that they could see it.
All right, so why don't we take this out to the public right now, just see if anybody has any comments. There's no one here in the audience. So let's just take this out to the public and see if anybody wants to come online and have any comments or questions. Once again, you can call any of the numbers in the white box and then put in the Zoom meeting ID number and you can come on. I don't know, what are the other anything else? Paul online? I think we might have lost Melissa. I don't see her online anymore.
No, she's there.
Oh, she is? So-
Yeah, she just turned her camera off and
Oh,
she's
so
mute, but
Paul or
she's there.
Melissa, did you have any comments in regard to this? I want to make sure we're including you in the conversation if you had anything to say.
Yeah, so is this sign visible from both directions? I know we talked about it a little bit, or is it just from one direction?
It'll be visible from both directions.
Okay.
Which is
And the
important if
whole
we want to
white
solve the
stuff,
problem.
or just the best part?
All the white will light up.
Okay.
The background, the blue that you see will not light. It'll be an aluminum, solid aluminum.
There
And
is,
the 5 feet wide is really and I can't tell from the rendition, is the widest part is the bottom white part, and then it juts in to the J. To the T for the best.
It's a full box.
It's a full
Aluminum,
Oh, it
think
is
of
a
an
full-
aluminum box, 5 foot by 4 foot, and then
Okay.
cut into it are the letters.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
there is nobody calling in.
Okay, so we'll close down the public comment section. There's no one here in the audience, as I mentioned.
Can I ask you one more?
Sure.
So I know you mentioned, right, part of the neighbors' complaints are these trucks that are trying to turn around in their neighborhoods, et cetera. And this would get them off in and out as quickly as possible. That all makes sense. Denise, do you have any specific complaints to this sort of thing? I'm just wondering if there's any specifics out there.
So there was actually a meeting not that long ago. And there were a lot of the neighbors were at the meeting complaining about the trucks. They're driving in our neighborhoods. They're stopping in the middle of the road and holding up traffic or they're trying to back up. And I, as the zoning board secretary, have gotten complaints about the same thing. And many of these people echoed, we need signs. These people need to know where they're going. And the owner of the property and the new people that are managing this business now, we're all involved in this. And that was, people said, you need to put, signs up. These people need to know where they're going because we don't want them in our neighborhood and we don't want them in the middle of the street. And it's been a considerable problem. And in addition to that, they talked about, they had to go renew their special exception use permit. And they talked about, other restrictions like the times in which these trucks can come in and out, things like that to just, give these people that live there a peaceful environment.
Okay.
All right, any further comments from board members?
I'm good.
Any other further?
I'm good.
Okay.
No.
Does the applicant have anything further to say before we just vote on this matter?
No, I think I kind of said everything. We're just really trying to fix a problem here. Be a good neighbor, and if this help, I think this will help. I think it'll definitely help, especially if cars coming off of 684 traveling in, they're going to see it, see the sign that's there, and entrance the best plumbing, and hopefully it should do its job.
Right. Okay.
Actually, it's not a haphazard solution. I admire the time that's gone into this solution already.
Thank you.
So this is a state route. The, what's the setback from the pavement? It's signs located on the property, on their property?
Right.
Yes, there was the ARB reviewed the survey.
Okay.
I think it was like 15 feet or something like that. Yeah, it's in quite a bit.
From not from the pavement, from their property boundary.
Yeah. Yeah, which is almost,
You can see a monument on the road right there too.
Yeah, on the very last sheet, kind of shows you where it's located. And it looks like it sits back far enough that if someone's coming out of Best,
Just inside.
hopefully it wouldn't hurt the sight line.
So that too.
oh, it definitely won't. Because
Fine.
it just worked out that there's kind of a little flat area there. where
There
it's
is.
the Best place for the sign to go.
Mhm.
So we thought that would be the best spot. And obviously, yeah, you have the light that's there as you're leaving Best as well. But yeah, you don't want it to bother any sight lines. But,
Right, because
you
you're
know,
trying to pull out and you can't see and it
right.
creates
But you have,
another.
it's back far enough that it won't
Actually,
hurt, and you also have the light.
restrictive covenant.
Right.
Carry right through.
And your proposal includes everything requested by the architectural review
DOT
board
come by. and-
Yep.
as far as
Yep,
the
Yeah, the drawing you,
cap and,
yeah, the drawing you have should show does the drawing actually?
Walls.
Yes, a bluestone cap that's gonna overhang. I believe they want it to go 2 inches all the way around the wall.
okay,
Inch cap, and then a timer, which it will be from 6 a.m.
to 7,
7 p.m.
okay. Yeah, the drawing doesn't show the cap, but you're.
I would
Testimony.
make a motion to approve the sign
Well, we got it.
proposed by the ARB letter.
Well, when
Yeah,
we,
I was going to include those details both in the minutes and the resolution.
right.
I might have printed out the wrong drawing, but we actually gave Denise, oh, maybe I didn't, maybe that was a different application. I'm sorry. I thought we gave her updated drawings, but yes, it will include the bluestone cap,
Right.
2 inches all the way around, so it looks nice. That was what was agreed upon with the ARB, because they had one that was they said that we only want an inch on a different sign and they didn't like it. We said, we'll give you the 2 inch all the way around and the timer. That was the only things that they had.
Right.
What is the thickness of the bluestone?
Probably do like 1.5 inches.
Right.
Nothing chintzy. They want it to be nice. You know, Best Plumbing is a upscale brand. You know, they don't look to cheap out on anything that they do.
Right.
And so when something like this, so when there's there was a use variance or something approved by the planning board to allow this business in a residential district at some point. And at that time, there may have been some specific sign
Oh, there was a big, long hassle.
requirements.
We had
Right?
meeting after meeting after meeting.
Well, Guerlain was
One
there
first.
for a long time
Right.
before this.
And Guerlain had a sign like about this big.
You were on the planning board at the time,
Yeah,
Bill?
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I
There was
have,
quite a bit of yelling and shouting.
I have no problem approving a variance for a second sign. My only concern, and I'm not overly concerned with this, I'm a little concerned with the size, but more importantly, just are we acting against anything that was had already been determined in that process?
No, and I went through all that.
Yeah.
I pulled everything from planning. When it became Guerlain, and then it was the YMCA, and then it was Best Plumbing,
That's plumbing.
and nothing.
Okay.
Hoping
So-
that there would be something to make this, decision a little easier. That was even to go to the ARB. And the ARB spent a considerable amount of time in this application and talking about the size, and felt that, if you go smaller and you can't see it, what's the point? You don't need a second sign.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we
they
did
also-
this with the camp, the
Yes,
summer camp on Mayapack Avenue, and we did
Yeah.
not allow them to have a bigger sign, if I recall.
Tom, is your concern that the resolution for the special exception use permit only provides for one sign? Or provides for one sign of a certain size? Is that the?
I'm concerned that that we may be approving something that is hugely in excess of what was maybe originally approved or thought to be, you know what I mean?
You're going back years?
I mean, without a lot of information, we're approving a fairly, I mean, a large, what is a large sign considering it's in a residential district. So I just want to make sure that obviously somebody would have covered that when this use was permitted.
We didn't go after the philosophy of this,
Yeah, I mean, when they
went
went,
after the practical of this.
yeah, of course.
And we're trying to practically solve a problem that philosophy doesn't help us with. Philosophy of having one sign makes a lot of sense in 99% of the time, but doesn't make sense here because of what's caused by that. So we're trying to correct something that's broken.
So in this motion, as Bart mentioned, that if we were to make one, obviously we'd include everything in the ARB. And then are we also including in that motion the dimensions of this proposed sign?
Well, the ARB says they don't object to the design, colors, and
Yeah.
size of the sign. And so if we just reference this letter, I think we leave that alone.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, looking at the location of this thing, I think the reason the planning board approved this as a special exception use permit is because of the setback. It's what is that, 400 feet back from the road, the actual building?
Building.
Yeah, the actual,
It sits way
the
back.
actual,
They're not,
Oh, it's like a quarter mile.
yeah, the actual externality.
not visible.
Lot court homes did not exist.
But they're also way in from its
Yeah, they don't.
Totally, yes, but exactly my point. You wouldn't even know there was commercial
back there. So,
property there until you put a 20 square foot sign on the road that tells you that.
but that's the point is that people, they do have a business, they do have a substantive investment, and they have, you know, that business requires signage in this day and age.
Yeah.
And that changes with time with distracted drivers.
And
And when they came with the horse, it was much easier.
then Denise said, said as well as town and at this one meeting, they were asking for more signage and Best Plumbing, who Best Plumbing and it's a kind of a different management team that's there now. Let's see if we can fix this, and they came to us and said, listen, we have an issue here. We know you guys did the front sign on the wall. We did some other, we do all their signage. So, and we said, well, that's all you're allowed. They said, well, we have an issue now. We have a problem that we want to try to fix. Let's see, let's go for it,
All right. And that meeting was sort of back when they were talking about.
No, this
Oh, that was
recent, right?
More recent.
Yeah, very recent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ARB said this was in their November 21st meeting.
Yeah,
Well,
I would say that other meeting was over the summer.
Oh, so the residents got together and said, hey, we're having a problem again.
Oh,
We're trying-"
yeah, this is very recent. And then from that, they went to Signs Inc. and Signs Inc., then Jim came to me
Okay.
to go to the ARB.
I wish one of them had come tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I
Well,
wish
when
That would have been nice. I would like to hear from the residents, right?
when we started working with Denise, we said, Denise, we know we were allowed the one sign and we weren't allowed another sign. What can we do? And, that's when we kind of all worked together to just figure this out. She spent a week or two saying, listen, I didn't forget about you. I just can't find these files saying anything. And that's when she went all the way back to the girl ain't.
And
Mr.
we do know that I guess somebody could file a chapter 78 if they don't like the decision. I mean,
Yeah. No, I
And
mean,
they're
look,
watching.
there was a meeting as
Yeah.
recent as this summer where residents
Yeah.
of
was
that
very
neighborhood
recent.
were saying, we need signs,
It was-
keep these trucks out of my neighborhood. Then,
That's
Yeah.
when they came.
and Denise was present for that. Then I guess
And at the
the next best thing to having them here telling me that.
At the ARB meeting, we did do a lot of discussion, Mr. Alfonsetti, and we just, he's very critical on signage and size of signage. And I know that from him. And we worked and we talked and he said, you know what, the setback, the speed of the cars, I don't want it to go any smaller because then it's not going to work. I don't want to go any, and obviously we don't want to go larger because it's not necessary.
Right.
Did anyone else voice any objections about the size of the sign at these meetings? at this meeting over the summer? that-
No, everybody was for it. I think everybody voted in favor of the sign, right, Denise?
Well, the general public wanted signs so that these trucks knew where they were going and they had to serve a purpose. And the ARB all approved the proposed size of that sign. There were no objections.
I'm comfortable.
Good.
Right.
I'm satisfied.
Any further comments from anyone else? Melissa, you haven't weighed in. Do you have any comments in regard to this?
No, I'm in favor. I mean, the size of the sign is larger than we would typically see, but I think it's tastefully done that matches the character of the neighborhood, and hearing that it's really designed to fix a problem, I'm all in favor of that if it makes the area safer for those who live there and the school next door.
Right.
And I don't know the boundary line, but we looked it up. Because actually, when I looked at the town map, zoning map, it's like they're right on the border.
Yeah.
So they're calling it a resident, well, technically, I guess it's a residential neighborhood, but it's not really a residential. There's not homes right there. But to your point earlier, it's a distance between, a home. And the homes that are on the access drive going into Best Plumbing is all shielded by evergreen trees, and they've always planted more when they were asked. So there's not even a chance that one of those homes would see this sign if it was lit.
That's true.
Right.
You're only going to see it in a vehicle. If you're looking at this sign in a vehicle, you're going to be looking at the flashing LED sign across the street at the school. You're not going to.
Right.
I don't think this is going to be, we've been doing this for, a long time, and I don't think it's something that we don't come in here and try to say, hey, this is what you have to have, and this is what you can do, because you're going to get denied. It's not going to happen. We're trying to do it tastefully to fit the characteristics of the neighborhood, and something the board can obviously see there's an issue and say, listen, this size is appropriate.
Right.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Any further comments before we go to vote? It's time to vote on this. Okay. Can we have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second?
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as whether we're going to grant or deny the application? And I think there should be some reference in that motion as to the Architectural Review Board's memo to us.
I'd make a motion to grant a variance for a second sign as approved by the Architectural Review Board.
I'd leave it there too.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. The application has been granted.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
Yep.
your time, and hopefully this fixes a problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
You can tell your client you worked very hard for this one.
Be well, Jim.
Together with the ARB and Best Plumbing, they're trying to do the
Right. Right, we understand that. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from November 19th, 2024. Has everyone had the opportunity to review them, and are there any changes or comments?
I'm good.
No changes.
I'm good.
I'm just going to approve by voice consensus. All in favor of approval of the November 19th, 2024 minutes?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? No. Okay, so minutes are approved. I do want to make mention that our next meeting is scheduled for January 21st, 2025. I assume, Denise, that we will have items on the agenda?
We already have two.
Okay,
And the deadline was last Friday, but we definitely have two.
okay, and possibly the application, the
Yeah,
adjourn-
I'm anticipating that it will continue to be adjourned until they get, whatever they need from the planning board, if they get it. If not, we will be back at it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay,
But yes, I will be including them on the next agenda.
okay, thank you very much.
We'll be
You're
wooed.
welcome.
Any other items anyone wishes to bring up? Any other issues we have to address? Nope.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll wish everybody then a Merry
Merry-
Christmas,
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and we'll see everybody next year in January.
Great.
Okay,
Good
thank
night,
you.
everybody. Happy
Thanks, Bob.
holidays.
All
Thank
right,
you.
good night, everyone. Yep, bye-bye.